was. So yes, it's a shameless plug about our show.
Yes. So go
Even
back
though we're here for
and
her.
watch that. But no, it's about her.
So
right
that's
now.
enough about us.
So let's talk about her. Dude. So
I mean, I didn't
acting-
used to understand martial arts
Really?
at all because I'm an actor, right?
And then that's what I
But
wanted
working
to...
with Jackie, I learned so much. I learned so much about the whole world of martial arts.
Right.
And because Jackie's surrounded by people who are the best of the best, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
His stunt team, they're made up of champions. So
Oh,
he was
yeah.
a Taekwondo champion,
Dude,
a kickboxing champion. And it's interesting because he brings them all together to create fight scenes.
Right.
And they all are able to contribute based on their background. So the fight scenes that you see him create
Right.
are a product of all these different martial artists.
You know, and I love that because I have seen some movies where you could tell only one guy choreographed it.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting the same. And,
Yeah.
and us being martial arts,
Yeah.
we can see that.
Yeah,
You know, and when I see a movie that's like that, goes, oh, this is all done by one guy.
yeah.
But I've seen some Jackie films where you could tell, no, that guy's really using that system,
Yeah,
or this
yeah.
guy's using that system, and you could see the separations.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you actually,
brought
Yeah.
that up.
yeah,
Yeah.
brought that up because
Yeah.
it's amazing how when you look at some of the American films, some of the older American films, it was very much like that. That
Yeah.
you could tell only one guy choreographed it.
Yeah.
You know, and we know some of those guys.
Yeah.
Why didn't you change this guy's character? You know, this guy's from a totally different place. Why isn't he
Right,
fighting
fighting
different than the other guys? You know, we're like, hey, so then what brought the fresh air was that when I first saw one of the Bourne movies, Bourne Identities, then you could see the differences. Then they were starting to really think about, oh no, these guys would fight this way and these guys should fight this way. Let's get two different people to train that part. John Wick is a classic example, right? When you see a John Wick movie, you know there were different styles of fights that were going on, and it actually showed. You could finally, up until I guess the last 10 years,
Yeah.
that you could finally see that,
Distinction.
yes, there was different people, the distinction of what fighter these guys were.
Yeah.
But I remember back in our time, in the 70s and 80s, it wasn't like that. It was one guy, and you saw the name, choreographed by, it was only the one guy.
Yeah.
You could tell.
And then sometimes the stunt coordinator who,
Yeah.
who made
Yeah.
it happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal now.
Have you done any stunts yourself? Because
I'm such a wimp. Such a wimp. Such a wimp.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe
so
it.
when I moved to LA.
Tenderloin.
Yeah, yeah, I can't. That's why I say I can't believe it.
No,
I'm such a wimp
I am
as I brush
I'm-
blood off the sidewalk.
I'm a wimp because I don't like pain. I just do not like pain, right?
okay.
But when
Different story.
But when I moved to LA, I had a friend who was a stunt performer, and I figured, you know what, as an actor, why I should learn.
Right.
So my girlfriend Kimbra and I, the one who hosted that podcast,
Okay.
she and I went to the park with this man to try out different stunts. We were in so much pain. After just a few hours, we were hurting, and I'm like, I'm never going to do this again, ever.
Wow.
So when I work with Jackie, I really appreciate what he and his team can do because
right.
I understand that they had to experience a lot of pain to get to where they're at.
To that way.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That journey is
Yes.
tough.
Yeah. Very
Well,
tough.
even for this kid, when we beat him up, and when he and I play, we don't just
We don't
touch.
baby each
We're-
other.
we're-
You hurt
we're
each
going-
other.
Yeah, we're going for it.
Well, I try to hurt him. He's usually the one that ends up winning. So it's not it's not each other.
It's not fair. Hey, I can't help it if I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but it's the appreciation of and that's the artistic part, is the appreciation of what you're getting out of it. And I'm sure for a stunt coordinator or a stunt performer, you're going through all this and it's that single piece, but it becomes something much larger in the whole scope of the movie itself.
yeah.
That
I mean, it's just
you
a
can't
little
help
piece
but
of
feel
the
like,
movie.
and
when you-
proud of my bruises and my aches
Well,
and
yeah,
my
you
pains.
got to believe that when a stuntman sees the stunts on screen finally,
Yeah.
after all that work, they got to be just really amazed by themselves. I mean,
Working on so many of these action films,
Yeah.
I will tell you that I enjoy watching the films at the end, but making them is painful because I've become friends with these people, right? And to
Right.
see them get hurt and to see them possibly risk their life, it's always just a painful process.
Ooh.
Yeah, action films scare me to death, but yeah, I've made many. I've made many,
That's
but
been your
it's
bread
all she
and
ever
butter.
does.
Yes, I sit there and I go like,
All
I
16
don't
movies.
want to. Yes. It's hard for me to see people I care about get hurt, right?
I
And
get
I know they're going to get hurt. They're
No,
going
that
to
is
fight and they're
totally
going
a
to get
mom
hurt.
thing. Yeah.
now you have siblings,
I have
and you
many.
also have step
Many
siblings. I
siblings.
half
guess.
siblings. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. yes,
Wow.
That's cool, and I know one of them, Mary.
Mary, my full-blooded sister. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's
yes,
a full
yes.
blood.
She's awesome. I went to her
Yeah.
house the other day, and she gave me all these bottles of different jams.
Mm-hmm.
I take it home, and my wife decides she's going to open each one and try them out.
And she should.
I couldn't, like, what are you doing? Well, I got to make sure which one I like. I go, but
They have
we haven't
different
even finished with
flavors.
the first
Can't
one.
even
You know,
give-
usually, because in my thing it's like
In
no,
your
you gotta-
world, that's what
yeah,
you
yeah,
do.
you got to finish one and
Yeah,
then get
then
to
And
the
your
you
next.
got
wife
the
is
next one.
not the same as you, right?
No, she
I
was
always
like, she's, give me the bread. She's slicing up bread. Like, all right. I go, what are you doing? I want to taste this one. I want to taste that one. Like,
I'm the same way. I'm the same
Really?
way.
Really? So you would open up all of them?
Yes, I'm the same way. Because
Oh,
they're different flavors.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, you might feel like strawberry on Monday and blueberry on Tuesday.
but she opened it the same night, at the same sitting, just to try them out. It wasn't even dinner. Actually, we were having dinner. I go, oh, a friend
By
of
the
mine,
way.
blah, blah, blah. And I put them all up. She goes, give me the bread. But we just had dinner. She goes, I don't care. I want to try them. All right.
Mind you, his wife is a tiny woman.
Mm.
She's very small.
She's about this tall.
Yeah.
But she can probably kick your butt, right?
Oh, she can.
She has a couple of my weapons that she knows what to do with, and she
So
knows
she's a martial artist as well.
In a
only
way.
from watching
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You can learn a lot from watching.
Yeah, she
Yes.
she knows that I would never do anything, but if I did,
Yeah.
that she knows that I would have to kowtow and bow to her and say okay, and I would have to just let her hit me.
Yeah.
Oh, that brings
Good.
up a question.
Good.
So, between all the films that you've worked on, what was your most difficult experience?
Difficult. So many.
Get him-
Honestly.
I can imagine.
Every
yeah.
film
Start
has
taking the
its
list?
challenges. So many challenges.
Really?
Started
Like-
off with Rush Hour, right?
Yeah.
Rush Hour, it took time for me to get to know Jackie.
Okay.
Because
Right.
it
Yeah,
takes
the
a while,
beginning,
right?
yeah.
I mean, when you're working with someone very closely, you have to understand who that person is.
Well, yeah, of
and,
course.
and
you
their
have to figure
world,
them
right?
Out, yeah.
Right.
And their entourage, right? And there's
Oh,
different
God,
dynamics
that's
with
gotta
people,
be,
right?
That's got to be crazy.
So what I did was after I started working with him, because I didn't know that much about him, I bought like 17 books and started reading up on him because I felt like I needed to do my research.
Wow,
Who is this
you
man?
studied him.
Yeah, who is this man I'm working with, right?
Right.
And once I
Wow.
understood that, then I could find different ways to work with him, right? But every film has its challenges. Working on Karate Kid was not easy because
Yeah.
we went to China to film.
Wow.
How was
And
that?
I don't know if you've ever been to China.
No.
Well, it can be very challenging there for many, many reasons.
I take it back. I was in Hong Kong. We got stuck
okay.
there on a layover.
Yeah.
And and I hate to say this, but they're rude.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I mean-
they can be. They can
Oh
be.
my God! I
Yeah,
had the worst.
yeah. They can be, yeah.
we were at an airport
Yeah.
at 7:00 in the morning,
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
go from Hong Kong to back into the States,
Yeah.
and we saw in the airport there's a restaurant, international restaurant, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
but they were having banana pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
They displayed it, all cream and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister wanted that. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, can we get this?"
Mhm.
"Oh, we're out of them."
Mm.
It's 7:00 in the morning. How many people ordered this
Yeah.
before we got
Right.
here? That you're out and you have this big poster that says this,
Right.
and you had the impression that it was, it was.
Right,
They
available.
looked at us
Right.
and said, "I'm not giving you that."
Wow.
I decided there's none left. And
Right. They didn't like the way you looked. Yeah.
I was like, and
Yeah.
I just felt that, wow, what did
Yeah.
we do wrong?
Mm.
I was like,
I think a lot of it has to do with the cultural clash.
Yes,
Yeah.
cultural is part of it. That's
the
what
other
I
part,
learned.
yeah.
I'm
even,
Chinese.
yeah, even,
I'm Chinese. I grew up in the U.S., but I was
Right.
born in Taiwan.
You're San
But here I
Francisco
am.
Chinese.
Yes,
Yeah.
but now I'm in China, right? And I'm
Right.
surrounded by people who look like me.
Right.
I thought they'll act like me, but no.
You stuck out.
Yes, you are.
You still stuck out.
A product of your
Yeah.
environment,
Right.
and that's the same thing, right? So working in China, language is part of it.
Right.
Because different parts of China, they speak different dialects.
Oh yeah.
Right.
there's a
Right?
bunch,
So
yeah.
the language you speak, they may not necessarily understand you, right? So it's
Right.
part of it. We had signs that said no spitting, and we had signs that said no smoking. My first day of work, I see people smoking and spitting. So I'm like, did you see the sign?
Do you guys
It
know how to
says-
read?
Yeah. I did that 21 times, and I realized
You're
they,
good.
they, they would do this. I'll smoke this way now. But they're still standing there. And I'm like, okay, so I've told 21 people to stop
Right.
smoking and spitting. No one's listening to me. Do I keep going crazy and doing this? Or do I
Yeah.
say, you know what, accept it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't change people.
Right.
It is what
So
it
that's what I'm
is.
going to do.
Yeah.
So day one, I learned my lesson. You can't change people. There are signs. They're going to ignore it. So I'm not the police. I'm not going to
Yeah.
enforce it.
No,
you know?
you're gonna ignore
I
it.
don't want to go crazy either.
But you
Right.
made sure that you didn't smoke or spit.
I tried. I tried hard not to spit. Put it in my mouth.
Where do I go?
Swallow it. Go.
You got a spittoon somewhere, mister?
I mean, part of the spitting is
Yeah.
is because of the environment, right?
Right.
It's polluted, right? So
Right,
you have
already.
this black stuff. In fact, when I went home every day, I was covered in a layer of thick blackness.
Really?
Yeah. It's
when,
just
when was that? When was
Wow.
well, Karate Kid was shot how many years ago? 13 years ago.
Wow.
13 years ago. And I think for 10 days, I did not see blue sky. The sky was gray. And I was like, what happened to that blue sky? There is no blue sky.
You know, it's funny that
pollution.
It's funny that you said, because I remember the first time I went to the Philippines, and I was 27.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this was like about early 90s, late 80s. And when I went there, every morning, you know, by 10 o'clock in the morning, I blow my nose and it'd be black soot.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
just like what you're
Yeah.
saying is that it was just really.
I was spitting too.
Yeah, you almost wanted
It's a
to be.
napkin, but I was.
No, I
You
get
almost
it.
wanted to take
Yeah.
a shower every chance you
Oh my
got.
God, yes.
But in the
yes,
Philippines, a
yeah.
shower would consist of a little bucket, and you're doing this with cold water.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of didn't want to
Yeah.
do that either. It was like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
So you were stuck like, fine, okay. But
Ladle.
yeah.
Ladle.
Yeah, that's what you were doing. I mean, you know, they had this big bucket that they put out
Right.
overnight because it just trickles of water. That bucket would get full by the morning. So that water's freezing cold, and you're like, okay, I gotta take a shower. And you're doing this, and you hear me screaming like a girl, and the kids that were there,
Laughing at you.
yeah, they were just cracking up.
Yeah.
Mom, he's hilarious! Ah, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right,
This
fine."
isn't on purpose.
No. But it was just, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
You're right.
There are a lot of stereotypes about the Chinese, and I've heard them all my life, right? Because I'm Chinese.
Right.
Of
right?
course.
But I never understood them. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why people say certain things.
You're American.
Like, yeah, I didn't understand
Yeah.
until I went to China. Okay, so the
Proof is in
stereotype
the pudding. Yeah.
that Chinese people are bad drivers. I'm like, where does that come from? Where?
Right.
Okay, so I'm in China, and we're like maybe in 10 lanes, right?
Uh-huh.
And the traffic's not moving like this, but like this.
Yeah.
It's like a living, breathing organism.
Yes.
It keeps changing. So if a person goes into your lane, well, guess what? You're going to go to the next person's lane.
Right.
And so when you're driving in China, it's like this.
So it's so common that everyone just
Yeah,
adjusts to
you
it.
cannot drive like this.
You
'Cause
can't
might
follow the
crash.
lines.
You will crash.
Wow.
And so that was part of it. And I had a driver who kept staring at me. I mean, I look great, I know, but
Yes,
you know,
of
not
course.
that great. But here he is driving, and he's staring at me in the rearview mirror, and he keeps turning around to look at me, right?
While he's driving.
On the freeway, okay? And so I'm like, okay,
That's-
I'm gonna pretend I'm
wow.
asleep because I'm
Right.
just asleep. He won't stare at me. So I'm closing my eyes, but he's still staring at me. And every time he stares at me, he stops stepping on the gas pedal, right? And the car suddenly slows down, and all these cars are going in front of him. I'm going, oh my God, I'm not gonna make it alive to the set. When I got there, I asked for a different driver.
Right.
Wow.
And I said, I have 2 kids back home. I want to go back home to my kids. Please
Right.
give me a different driver. And that driver, the next day, came up to me and said, I don't know why they changed me. You know, I don't know why. Do you know why? I'm like, no.
No,
I have
no idea.
No idea
No
why.
clue.
You
Whatsoever.
psycho, get away from me.
I'm gonna lie
Yeah.
my butt
That
off.
is just too
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing, like you're saying, like depending where you're at in the country,
Yeah.
you get these really weird things going on. I remember we were in, I work for United Airlines, so I fly a lot, and I had an opportunity to go to Rome and to
Nice.
Paris. 2 different cultures. Oh my
Yeah,
God, I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
believe it. It was just so weird.
Yeah.
Paris, I hated. They were
Because of the
most-
people.
Well,
They were
yeah,
not
they were
nice,
so
probably,
arrogant.
right?
They were
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're an American,
Yeah.
and I'm Filipino."
Yeah.
But they,
No,
they
you're
knew.
American.
Yeah,
They knew.
you know,
They
they
knew.
knew. And then, but you go to Italy, you know, we were in Rome, and oh, hey, can I help you? You need da, da, da." I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, what a big. I mean, just within that small range,
Yeah.
you know, I was like, this is still Europe, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but it was just a whole nother world on both
Right.
sides.
Did you ever attempt to speak French?
No, because
Okay, see,
they would have
that's the
shot
difference.
me. They would have shot me.
What I found was that when you attempt to speak other people's
Yeah.
language, they are nicer to you.
Because you
Yeah.
took the time.
Yes.
But I
yes.
didn't know that I was going to need it for
Yeah.
that. You know, I just thought
Yeah.
everybody in the world speaks English as a, you know what I mean?
You're acting like an American.
Yeah.
Everyone should be able to speak English.
No,
right?
Well, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Most touristic areas where they do
They
English
should-
is
yeah,
a big part
yeah,
of it.
They
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
you know, and you would have thought that.
They
but,
do, but you know what? They appreciate it when you attempt to try to
Right.
speak their language.
See,
Okay.
That's the
she
difference.
learned that early
Right,
on.
note to
Yes,
self.
yes, yes.
Note to self.
I have
Wherever
traveled
I'm
to
going,
many countries
pick up
with
a
Jackie,
dictionary.
and I do find cultural differences exist everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you make the attempt, no matter how difficult it is, say hello, thank you. Those few little words mean a lot.
But with
They mean a lot.
effort, not arrogantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Mhm.
Where do you think you're going to go from here? Because it seems like you kind of slowed down in your
Oh
30
yeah,
years.
for sure, for
Do you,
sure.
would you like to be a director, or would you like to go
I
further up?
don't know what I'm going to be, but right now, having spent the last 30 years, working as an actor or as a dialogue coach for the last 20 years,
Mhm.
I'm now kind of more focused on my family because I have
Right.
3 kids, right?
Right.
And the oldest one's applying to college, right?
That's
and
fun.
now I'm supporting them and their dreams of being in the robotics team. And I'm a robotics mentor, so I used to go to all the meetings with the kids and watch the kids and
Hey, watch your servos.
yeah. So I'm passing down some of my skills. I'm teaching tennis to my kids and her friends.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, they definitely have your personality. Seems like you're
Especially
a very
the little one that we saw
open
on the
person.
screen, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever
the
been an
more-
issue for you.
I think kids learn from you, right?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, they
Kids
emulate
They
you.
watch you, and then they learn good and bad
Right,
from you,
right.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully the
And
good.
you hope to pass on the good, but sometimes you pass on the bad too.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
deal with it, and you're
Yes,
like, wait,
yes.
how did you? No,
Yes.
that's totally me right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
You know, I would feel bad if we did not at least mention the fact that you were an actress, because we've been saying it all along,
Yes.
but we haven't said in what films. Because
Right.
I'm kind of
sure.
curious.
Well, in some of Jackie's films.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my first film actually was Joy Luck Club.
Okay.
Okay. I was cast in this big film. I was so excited. My first professional experience.
Mhm.
I showed up on the set in makeup and hair, and I see another actor dressed just like me. She's pregnant. I'm pregnant. And I said, "Which part are you playing?"
Wait,
She
were you
goes,
actually pregnant that
No,
time?
no, it's-
no.
it's,
A
you know.
pillow.
And then I said, "Which
I was
part?"
wondering, 'cause I was like, wait, she
No,
was
no.
pregnant in a few films. Hold on. I mean, is she hiding kids? Hiding
No,
them.
no. So, she's playing the role of Lindo's servant,
Uh-huh.
and I am as well. So I knew something had happened here, right?
Ooh.
And I suddenly see the director whispering to the first AD, and he's pointing at the 2 of us.
Now, for the people who don't know, AD is
Assistant director. So the
Okay.
director
Yeah.
is talking to his AD,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's pointing at us and looking at both of us, and I'm like, oh man, one of us has to go. And then they come up to me
Did
and
you
they
poke her in
said,
the eye? Just hit-
I was so tempted, so tempted. But
Crowbar.
I restrained myself.
She did one of those things that
Yes.
I seen her.
Crowbar.
Nancy
know.
Kerrigan,
I know.
get him the leg.
I mean, you have to remember, this is my first film.
Right.
This happens to me, right?
Right.
So the AD comes up to me and says, so your role's been cut, and I know that's not true, right?
Right.
And you can either stay for lunch or leave. So you know me, I'm an optimistic person. I stayed and had my lunch, met a lot of people.
Maybe she breaks her ankle. in
I
this.
know. I
Maybe
got
I
lots of numbers, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
And the craft service guy gave me his number because he says that he's a director and he's
Uh-huh.
going to do this independent project.
Oh,
okay?
cool.
So a few months later, he calls me up and we do this independent project. And in the project, there's this young child who's in the film. And guess who that young child turned out to be?
Jackie Chan?
The young child turned out to be John Chu, director of Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So this was him when he was a kid in our film.
How funny.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
Way
it.
back
Um,
when.
Let me,
So-
let me, because this is crazy. Because here it is. You know, I used to do photography,
Mm.
and I would try to get, I see a pretty girl and say, "Hey, I'm a photographer. Would you like to?"
Mm.
It was
And
a
it's
pickup
either gonna
line
go,
mostly.
it's either gonna go okay
Yeah.
or horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Pervert, blah blah blah, all
Right,
those little
right,
things.
yeah.
And here you are, hey, catering guy. Oh, I'm a director.
Yeah.
How do you know?
You're right. You're
You
right.
know?
I
Because that's
didn't know. You're right. I
I
didn't
mean, because
know.
I'm like,
And,
wait a minute.
you
Why
know-
is there nobody else on set?
Yes, yes. And so young actors have to learn
Yeah.
that they're going to do an independent project. They have
Uh-huh.
to bring someone with them. Not that I did.
Oh.
But they should.
telling you now.
They should. But you know,
Hindsight.
but having been a restaurant owner and grocery store
You
owner,
have that
I carry
instinct.
I carry sharp things in my bag.
She
You know?
carries the whole
Sharpened pencils.
Comic set.
Yeah. So I know how to protect myself if I have to.
Right.
Yeah,
And
this
Mission High
eyeliner's
School,
not
Mr.
just to make me
Bologna
look
taught
good.
self-defense.
Mr.
Oh.
Bologna.
Bologna.
Yes, I know Mr.
So
Bologna.
I took his self-defense class.
funny.
Yes. And
You got to take our class.
Okay, I know. I saw you guys doing your
he's
stick.
crazy.
That's
He always
amazing.
tries to hurt me.
Wow.
I don't
I
know
do.
why. I'm
Yeah,
a
I love
good
it.
guy.
I love
I'm a
it.
He
nice
told
guy.
me to.
I would love to train your
Mm.
daughter or your son.
Thank
if
you.
they
Thank
want,
you so
know.
much.
Yeah, they want to
Yeah,
learn
if they want to come
something.
learn. We're only in South San Francisco.
Okay.
So if you ever want classes, and we can always refer you to people who are closer. We have a friend over here in San Carlos,
Mm-hmm.
not even that far. We're actually going to go visit him in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
he
he's a wonderful
75
instructor, yeah.
different weapon forms.
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah. You
wow,
should see
amazing.
him with all kinds of stuff. I mean,
Oh.
we had we were playing with him the other day, and he had these whips.
Whips.
Oh my
and
gosh.
he had
whips.
just
I like whips.
come here. And he was going like, okay, I don't want to make you mad.
He's an
But-
interesting person, but yeah, we've because of this we've met a lot of interesting people, yourself
because of our
included.
show, yeah.
Mhm.
And just to see your guys' journey and see all the things that kind of overlap with one another, and there has to be a great deal of determination, but also a bit of uniqueness when it comes to your character, because I don't think you're a very typical individual.
Oh,
Like, just
no?
the little
No, you're
interactions
not?
that we have. Well, because you're outgoing. Most people aren't that outgoing. Most
Yeah.
people, either fall into
And
something.
especially Asian women.
Yes.
You know, Asian women are very, because that's how they were raised in their culture. You were very quiet.
Right, right.
You did it.
Once again, my restaurant background has something to do with it. When you're a
Right.
child growing up in the Castro
Oh yeah.
at a restaurant called Happy Boy, all our customers
Is
were
it
gay.
still there?
No, it's now a
Okay.
Thai restaurant. But all our customers
okay.
were gay, or
Yeah.
they were drag queens.
Right.
So at an early age, we just learned that the world is full of different kinds of people, right?
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's part of it. And of course, learning to become an actor. What does
Right.
it take to become an actor? Well, I'll give you an example, okay? The classes that we take in acting class, you have to do stuff like get on the ground and become an animal.
Right.
Okay?
yeah.
Suddenly you are on the ground acting
Yeah.
like an animal with other students. Now we have to find an animal that we like and one that we don't like, right? And how do we act as that animal?
She likes this animal.
I know. She's
I like this animal.
scratching
Yes.
around me.
And
Like,
we do stuff like that.
Did I wear my deodorant?
So all these exercises
Right.
help you break down your barrier. Right?
Well, yeah, I
of
mean-
who you are as a person.
no, this is incredible because have you ever, because you're a dialogue coach,
Uh-huh.
have you ever decided to do like teach acting?
Well,
Oh,
guess
yeah.
what? In Karate Kid, I was told that Jackie's role wasn't that big. And they said, can you teach all the kids how to act and speak English?
Wow.
Sure, why not? So I did.
That was a lot of
So
kids.
when you watch the film,
Yeah.
all the kids,
When they do their English part, yeah.
So why not open your own place?
I
do
could,
that.
but I have 3 kids to take care
Yeah,
of. It's
I'll
hard.
help.
It's
Yeah.
hard. Thank you.
You're gonna
Thank you.
babysit?
I'll watch the kids. I'll
Thank
teach
you.
them how to,
Thank you.
how to-
But guess what? I teach my own kids.
Yeah.
So when they do presentations in school,
Right.
Oh, I bet they get
when
A's
they,
all
yes,
the time.
Wow,
I
can
sit
you
next to
imagine?
them and I practice with them.
Wow.
One is applying
You're
to
not
college
a-
now, right?
You're not a stage
So-
mom, are you?
You know what? Two of my kids have actually gotten agents with my agent, and they've actually gotten work when they were kids. But
Right.
when they grew older, they had their own activities, and they didn't have the interest. But my younger one has interest, so I just don't have
well,
time
she looks
now.
like
Yeah.
she should be a hoot.
Yeah, we're working on her skills, but there's no time to bring her out there.
No,
But,
no,
yeah.
we're working on getting them through college first, and
Yeah.
then once they're out there, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna do something else.
I mean, there are a lot of
don't-
opportunities
You know,
out
I don't
there,
see
so-
that in you, though. I
What?
don't see you as the type of mom who would, once you get the kids at 18, get out. I think you're going to stay with. I mean, because even in the Asian culture, right? Even in our
Yeah.
family, we never really get tossed out.
Right,
Sure,
right.
We're encouraged to go ahead and move and get married and blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah, you guys go live with
Yeah,
another
but we're always living with 'cause
with
like,
an uncle or
Right.
an aunt.
Yeah, I mean, I have 2 nephews who stay with me.
Okay.
You know, because that's what I did when I was younger.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, when I was back in school,
Yeah.
I would live with one of my other sisters and
Right.
help them with their kids
Yeah,
and whatever
yeah.
else.
Mhm.
But it stayed that way. You know, we
Mhm.
were never just tossed out. Here, go make a name for yourself or do whatever you have to do for yourself.
Right, right.
I mean, I think it's real prevalent in the Asian community that family is always family.
Yeah, I think it all depends on your vision, right?
Yeah.
Or what you want to do. Because I do have friends who send their kids off to college, but because it's all online right now,
Right.
There's still-
they could choose to keep the kids at home, but they
Right.
don't want to. They're having the kids fly to the nearby city where the school is located and do online in
Over
their
there.
apartment.
Wow.
And
Really?
the idea being they want them to become independent.
Independent,
And
yeah.
there's a lot to be said for that,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, the more independent you are, the more opportunities will come your way, I think.
That's true.
Right?
That's
yeah,
true.
and you're not
You're not
cuddling to
afraid.
mom and dad.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you do your job right as a parent, or even if you do it horribly wrong, the kids always feel the need to leave the nest.
Yes, yes.
And it seems like your kids are gearing up to pursue their own
yeah,
interests
Yep, yep.
to the point where they're like, Mom, I'm moving out.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
I think
yeah.
the daughter wants to do what you're doing. It
She
looks
is
like she's
definitely
getting,
interested in
Yeah,
performing.
yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot to
She's
this
a ham.
world.
Yeah.
She
a ham.
has that personality.
Yeah, that's cool.
Where'd she get that from?
I have no idea. No idea at all.
I'll give you a hint.